Hi guys, today's movie that you don't hate. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about why you don't hate Godzilla 1998. 1998. The most controversial Godzilla movie.
Really?
That we've, more controversial than 1995, more controversial than 2014's Godzilla.
Okay.
I mean, it's the most controversial. We only did 3, so out of the 3, it's the most controversial one.
Okay.
And so today we're going to talk to you about why you really don't hate this movie. So we're going to go over a lot of the things that most people universally, or I guess the majority of most people will say, are the negatives about the movie. And we're going to talk to you about why those may not be negatives and what the positives are of this movie and why it does have redeeming factors.
And now the clock is, the scoreboard is on. And let's get right into it. Now, the one of the biggest things that people complained about on this movie was the design of Godzilla himself. Originally, he is pretty much a cross between a Stegosaurus and a Tyrannosaurus Rex, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
This one is more of an iguana, of a big Tyrannosaurus iguana.
Right.
Okay.
Man.
Now he is faster. Mm-hmm. He is faster, and
All right, so the thing about the design of Godzilla, because he's already flaming right now. So the thing about
it's really tough, but I actually do love this movie.
All right, so the thing about the design of Godzilla, well, obviously with the Toho ones, because I messed it up last time, with the Toho ones, is that they were combining 2 different animals. Mm-hmm. And since us as Americans, we wanted to see what it was like to have Godzilla in a more realistic setting.
Exactly.
So they chose an animal that they could say really existed. It wasn't an amalgamation of 2 different animals. This is something that was, I'm back to using big words. So they didn't combine two animals. They found an animal that they could say that would evolve based on the same settings that Godzilla was created from.
As far as radioactivity?
Yeah, from the radioactivity. So it was an iguana, and and a lot of people have problems with the design because we're used to seeing Godzilla look a certain way. So this was very, very shocking. It was so shocking that I remember working for a Blockbuster when the movie came out, and they actually hid the toys, and we got the toys in first, and we were all like, "Oh man, the Godzilla toys what does Godzilla look like?" And we opened it up, like, "Oh, that's what Godzilla looks like."
Yeah, it was kind of disappointing.
It was a little disappointing as far as what we're used to as Godzilla. So, but I understand why they did it. It was the director was trying to be different. He wanted to make his own way, and he wanted his Godzilla to be distinctive to him. And what we were doing, we couldn't just keep copying Toho. So that's the reason why we got the iguana. Now, like you were saying, the iguana Godzilla was faster. The iguana Godzilla, and for the way it was designed, did look menacing. It wasn't like, because even through the ages with Godzilla, because we got so used to him, he became like a loving character. Yeah. And it's like there was nothing scary about Godzilla. So with the way we did with this iguana, this radioactive iguana, he had the menacing teeth, the oversized head, and it was like you thought that this Godzilla was really, if it was in a modern day setting, it would eat you. Godzilla today, it's like, oh, Godzilla will fight off some other monsters, then he'll go back to the sea and go to sleep. This one was designed to look like he would attack and destroy a city. And
I think the realism that Emmerich was trying to go for, I think he reached it to a point, but there were some things that he could have changed up a little bit. I would have liked it to be a little bit more modernized, but also sticking to what really his concept looks like, what that is. Right. But overall, I thought it was still, it wasn't as bad as everybody makes it out to be. So the point goes to negative or positive?
Negative.
Okay, so another thing that a lot of people were also upset about is how much it resembled Jurassic Park in the end. And I think that it was almost like they exhausted the idea of him, terrorizing the city and all that, and they had to go a different route to add a little bit more suspense, a little bit more action, a little bit more adventure, and all that. So, what do you think as far as the ending? I mean, not the ending, but the part where the eggs and all that good stuff in Madison Square Garden. What do you think about all that?
I don't see how that was Jurassic Park like. I mean,
well, because they look like little raptors and.
Well, I mean, it was an iguana. I mean, it was a lizard, and I didn't think it looked like Jurassic Park, and I thought I didn't make those comparisons at all. So I really don't get where people got that from. So I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, how do you feel as far as with?
I can see the similarities. I can see the similarities as far as being, people being chased by dinosaurs, people being eaten by dinosaurs.
Okay, so was that a good or bad thing for the movie?
It was. It was okay. I think that the focus needed to stay on Godzilla.
Okay.
I don't think that they needed anything else unless you were going to introduce a monster somewhere, which I'll get into in a minute. But I don't think that it was necessary, to be honest with you.
So how do we want to score that one then?
Negative.
Man, we're not doing too good.
We're not doing too good.
Too much. 0-2 right now.
All right, but here's where I think we're going to get some bounce back. All right. One of the things that I loved about Godzilla was that the threat and the menace that you said was Godzilla. Yeah. It was not, if you watch the Muto from 2014 Godzilla, the Muto is the main the main dinosaur, main creature that you see, the monster that you see, and Godzilla is not. He's more of a he's there every now and again.
Yeah, I mean, he's just there to fight.
How do you cameo your own movie?
Basically.
So that's one of the reasons why I do like this, because the threat is Godzilla from when he comes out of the water, and has the rig in his mouth, doing the going through the city, tail whipping, all that stuff. He makes the destruction. He causes the destruction, and the military is put together to fight him.
Right. So kind of like the very original Godzilla, where Godzilla was destroying Tokyo.
Exactly.
We got to see Godzilla destroy. We got to see Godzilla. Well, at least our Godzilla eat a person. So I don't remember another Godzilla where that's actually happened. So like you said, the threat was there. Not only was the threat there to the military and the destruction of the area, but it was even there. It was like if he caught you by yourself, that was you behind.
Yeah. So I'm giving that point to positive.
All right, back on the board here.
All right. Another positive that I thought was really good was the special effects.
Yeah.
The special effects were great.
For its time, they were really, really great.
For 98, yeah, absolutely. Now, Emmerich had just come off of Independence Day, and he already had, played with a lot of visuals. I believe Independence Day might have even been nominated. I'm not too sure for an Oscar for visuals. Yeah. But, he was hot off that, and this was his second attempt. So, as far as the visuals of it, from maybe not the design, but the special effects of him going through the city and him, all this other stuff, I thought it was awesome. Yeah, I thought special effects were great.
You didn't walk away saying it was like, oh, he looks cheap. You just didn't really like the design of Godzilla. It looked believable. In every scene that we saw in, whether it was interacting with actual real people or going through fighting the military and stuff like that, every scene still seemed believable. Nobody ever says that, hey, the special effects in Godzilla 1988 don't hold up. They just talk about like, oh, they didn't like the way Godzilla looked.
That was the main thing,
and with that being said, that means the special effects were great in that movie.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. So point effects.
Yeah, exactly. There was like 2 films from the 90s where you say the special effects still hold up. You would say Jurassic Park, and you would obviously Independence Day, maybe, kind of, sort of, and then you would say Godzilla, so maybe 3.
It was worth the effort anyway. I thought the special effects on there were awesome. The fact that they actually they had that origin in the beginning, as far as the iguana looking at the radioactive blast, and I thought that was kind of cool. So I did like the origin aspect of it. I mean, I know it was really brief, but at least you got to get an idea of how this happened, and then the introduction of Godzilla when he goes and he attacks that the Japanese ship. Yeah. So a lot of that I really did enjoy the origin part.
Yeah, they stayed true to Godzilla. It was like outside of the design, they really tried to be true as much as they possibly could to be the Godzilla with the radioactivity. He was in the water. He was living in the water. He comes out the water. If there's a ship in his way, he's gonna bust through the ship. And I mean, you can't really say that there was a difference in the origin. It was like, so you can't really say that there was anything wrong with the origin because they gave you Godzilla's origin. If they gave you Toho's Godzilla in that same origin, you would say, oh, Toho made that movie.
And another thing that I liked about it was that it didn't take as long to really to show the monster. It really didn't take as long as it does in the other Godzilla movies. Godzilla really doesn't even come out towards the end. That's
exactly.
That's why Gareth Edwards probably did it that way. He wanted to introduce the threat first. When in fact it actually Godzilla should have been the threat. But anyway, so with this one, since Godzilla was the threat, they showcased him earlier, and for that I thought that was a good thing.
No, it was great. It was like, this is, like you said, first Godzilla movie where we didn't have to sit around and wait for Godzilla. In the Japanese ones, we always wait for a Godzilla.
Yep, absolutely.
In the American ones, besides this one, we wait for a Godzilla. This is the only one where it says, hey, credit roll, Godzilla. Godzilla's right there. Boom, we're ready.
Yeah, exactly. So, point. Okay, so the one thing that I did not, that's kind of setting us back a little bit, is the fact that there's no versus, and he did not fight anybody. At least in Kong, he fought the Tyrannosaurus, and he, at least
almost forgot to count that as our version.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, at least he had that. But in this one, he fights absolutely nothing. So that did bother me. I don't think that the iguana was the only thing that was affected by that radioactive blast in the beginning. I'm pretty sure that there was something else that could have came out that would have actually played some kind of good antagonist there.
Giant cockroaches or
something. I don't care what it was.
Which is basically what the Moodles were.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Going off subject, you ever notice that Kylo Ren's ship looks like a Moodle?
It does. It actually does. It does.
Anyway,
that's a Star Wars callback.
Yeah, that's on rule of 2. Catch that next time. All right, but yeah, so there is no verse. He doesn't fight anybody. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, we've seen him. Well, it depends on how you want to look at it. We've seen him in almost every Godzilla movie fight somebody, except for the original Toho Godzilla movie where he destroyed Tokyo.
You think that's why? You think that
he was trying? They were trying to give us that, and it was like, we always see Godzilla fight somebody, and there was probably some licensing issues with Toho, because when Toho lets us make a movie, they don't like to use all of their characters. Like, just for this upcoming Godzilla movie, we just now got a license to use like Mothra and stuff like that. They hinted it, but they didn't have license to actually use it. So now we can actually use those monsters. When they give out the license to use Godzilla, it's only for Godzilla, which is one of the reasons why we didn't get it. But two, it's a callback to an original Godzilla film where he destroys a city. He's the threat. He's the issue that he's waiting for another monster to come in, kill the monster, go back home. Oh, Godzilla saved the day. Godzilla's the threat. The movie's about Godzilla. Give us Godzilla, and that's what they did.
I think that it would have been good, though, to have that. I mean, obviously, they were probably saving that for the second, for a sequel. That didn't happen.
A sequel, yeah. Let's see, that Godzilla's 1999 film that didn't make it out.
So I think that, that's probably the plans that they had for it. But it would have been good to see this particular Godzilla in action, just to see what his capabilities are, what his strengths were, and all that good stuff. So, as far as the no verses, I'm gonna go negative on that one.
Okay, so I think we're tied now.
No, actually, we're up by 1. I think.
Oh, we're up by 1.
We should be up by 1.
We'll figure out the score in a minute.
Actors. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Okay, so Matthew Broderick was in it.
Ferris, you can't go wrong with Ferris.
The movie was basically an action comedy. I mean, there was nothing super serious about the movie. I mean, outside of the destruction that was going on, nothing else was super serious about the movie. So, I mean, they basically lived up to their parts. They gave us their comedic.
I mean, I like Hank Azaria. He was
great. I loved him.
He was probably the best thing in the movie for me as far as human characters.
I believe Matthew Broderick as a smart scientist, and I mean, I didn't have a problem with the characters at all. There's nobody I could say like, oh, they gave a bad performance. I thought the comedy writing was there. In some spots it was a little hokey, but it was enough that it kept me engaged in the film. I didn't sit like, they're on screen again. I didn't ever do that, so it's one of those things. I actually like the cast. How do you feel about the cast?
Oh, well, I thought that all of them did a pretty decent job. They were okay. The weak point for me was Jean Reno, that plays the French guy. I'm talking about the professional.
Yeah, the professional.
Anyway, he was kind of like the weakest part of it.
He had a small part in the film.
No, that was about the only thing. Other than that, I thought Broderick was. You're right. I mean, him as a scientist, you definitely believe that. And he he gave some, you know, sympathetic performances there, here and there, and very innocent in a way. But overall, yeah, I thought, you know, like I said, Hank Azaria was my best one right there for me.
All right.
So point for the actors.
Point for the actors.
I'll give a point to the actors. Why not? Okay. Now, one of the best things about it for me was the soundtrack. I like the song from
I like the song, and this might be highly debated, but you know, or controversial that we like. I like the song. That song got played a lot, and I mean,
it's got a catchy beat.
I had the Godzilla soundtrack.
There you go.
Because of that song. I mean, there was a lot of like back filler that they had in there, the, you know, undertones and, you know, background music that they had on the soundtrack. But I played that Puff Daddy song. I mean, it was a remake to another song, and some people will say that it's like they should have just left that song alone and just, if they wanted to use that song. But
the fact that they brought Jimmy Page in and he collaborated with Jimmy Page, that's an awesome. That's the bridging of barrier, breaking down of barriers and bridging. You know,
and how hot was Puffy in the 90s?
Exactly. And what didn't he sample? So it's all right.
Exactly. So we're gonna do the music here.
So soundtrack, point to the positives. There you go. Now Toho's recently updated Godzilla, so it's a little bit debated on whether this new version is gonna, you know, be all right, you know, in the movies. I don't know. It's still debatable. We'll see what happens. But this particular one got a lot of flack, and to be honest with you, certain parts were well deserved, especially the design. But overall, you don't hate this movie.
Nah, you don't hate this movie. You don't hate this movie at all. And shame on Japan for killing our Godzilla. Because they put him in a movie and they had their Godzilla kill our Godzilla. So, I mean, it's up. But you don't hate this movie. As a matter of fact, this is one of those movies where you may not actually say, I'm going to go put that movie on. But if you're like strolling through TV, you'll find yourself getting caught up in it and watching it.
Yep.
And even if it's to like, oh man, I really hate the way Godzilla looks. Or just a simple fact to say like, man, I miss this movie. I haven't seen this movie in forever. To where you'll just be into it. And I think because of that, you don't hate this movie at all.
Yeah. I'm Manny.
I'm Terrence.
See you next week.
The Goods You Don't Hate, Take 3, Episode 5, Roll 1.
Hi guys. Today's movie that you don't hate